Age discrimination is a significant problem in the workplace. About 30% of mature age workers claim to have experienced it, and like sexism, it can often be subtle and disguised as a joke.
Then you would start to get just personal comments, where people would say things like, are you coming to the meeting, old man, and things like that start to happen, and constantly just referrals being, or references being made to that relate to your age and things like that.
Many mature age workers experience recruitment as broken and really not effective in helping them into work. At the same time, some employers are reluctant to employ people over the age of 50, so older workers have to be particularly creative in finding their way around that.
I wanted to open up all areas. I wanted to understand what was out there. So I went through the recruitment process at, I guess you'd say, the C-suite level, which to me wasn't a great experience. And the reason for that was, I think when I look back on what happened, clearly I felt those particular recruiters, it was all about them. It really wasn't about me. And I wanted someone, in my eyes, to think about me and to sort of, I guess, take me on board with what I call my IP and really to sort of pitch me to potential companies.
I really didn't want to go down the path of going through recruitment agencies and things like that. I dealt with these people through being headhunted by some of them from time to time. And what I, found is it's really just a cookie cutter process.
And apart from obviously sending him my CV, we got to the point across the boardroom where he virtually said, "So, what's your brand?" So I've been in plenty of high-powered discussions and negotiations, but if you've got someone's CV and you've had it for over 2 weeks and you've called the meeting, I would have expected that he would have known a bit about me. He would have known where my experience was. He would have understood my skill set. He would have known what my IP was to potential companies.
Look older or something like that, they're not really interested in putting you forward. They've often got very limited experience themselves, and you'll find, a lot of these people have perhaps graduated, got a job as a recruitment agent and can talk the talk, but they actually really don't have a great depth of understanding what the roles are, how people add value.
That said to me, hey, you know what, I'm at an age now where I'm not going to sort of fit into this sort of senior recruitment area. And, I don't think they did much for me in terms of the number of people that I spoke to.
You read stories about people going for 50 or 100 interviews and getting nowhere and things like that. It just had no appeal to me at all. I'd rather be resourceful and really think out a plan of how I was going to go about doing that myself.
So really then I started to lean on my own contacts, which I still call my IP. That held me in much better stead. And then I literally got a gig with a 6-month consultancy for a company which I just loved.
Mature age workers have transferable skills in spades, sometimes called soft skills. Older workers have honed these skills over long careers, making them particularly valuable employees. We know that by 2030, about 2/3 of jobs will be soft skill intensive. So mature age workers are actually well placed for these jobs of the future.
To dive into the deep end of the pool, and I don't swim well, but to learn how to swim and to, in fact, know that actually I'm wearing a lot of flotation devices. There's a lot of background there through life experience that helps guide you. And if you've got the personality that allows you to own yourself, know where you're at, be able to reflect on areas that you possibly need to work on and get feedback from that, you create this beautiful workspace and a world of opportunities that you didn't think existed.
I felt very comfortable to be able to talk to anyone and do, pick up the phone and reach out to people, where the people in the office were more inclined, the younger generation were more inclined to send emails and not verbally have that verbal communication skill. So for me, it was about connecting with people in a broader market.
Now I'm quite confident and proud of what's been achieved, whilst recognising that there are gaps and there are room for improvement. I think it's really important to communicate what you've achieved. I think also it's important to reflect on the transferable skill sets that you've got, because we don't recognise, that there's all of this life experience and all of the skills that sit within that. That means, the world is your oyster with opportunity. It's asking a lot of questions and it's understanding people's backgrounds and experiences. So how do we move forward if we don't understand the context? So for me, transferable skills are communication, thinking critically, and problem solving, because you come up with you hit a lot of roadblocks along the way.
There are entrenched myths about older workers not being committed, not wanting to try new things or gain new skills, and definitely being no good at tech, when in fact the opposite is usually true.
So when I went back into the workforce, or decided, and wanted to educate myself more on the social media, I was given the opportunity to intern at an IT/marketing company, where it was a win-win, because I was able to access the brains and the people and all the components of the company to increase my knowledge in exchange for my networking skills and introducing the founder of the company and the people to new clients.
You can do this, and obviously consulting on your own is pretty hard work, but it also is quite satisfying and quite fulfilling. So I was doing things that I wasn't necessarily doing in the past. So when you sit at a fairly senior level in a company, you have lots of people doing other things for you and you're setting direction. Here I was learning how to build websites, positioning myself, marketing myself, creating my own business, and then trying to help others do the same.
I've got one child that's finished school, that's at university, and my twins are in high school, that I would like to challenge myself again, and now that I've been at this PR company for 4 years, it's time to do something different.
I'd used computers in the workforce, standard systems, and that was all. And I just taught myself. There's a lot of really good learning material online and very cheap. You don't need to pay for expensive TAFE courses. It's too much money. So I've taught myself how to use WordPress, that's my content management system. And then I taught myself how to use social media. I use all the platforms. I've taught myself how to do podcasts, how to do little videos, how to run a database. And you can just teach yourself. It's logical.
I do believe that I still have it in me for a whole new career.
That was at learning a new skill set for me, because I would not describe myself generally as a very confident, outgoing, social person. So I really had to step into a space where I was passionate about the change, but I had to then learn some new skill sets, which I found out really came naturally in the end, but I had to step out of the comfort zone to learn how to work in this space that didn't yet exist. We were treading new territory with tech schools.
Mature age workers often want more work-life balance. They're looking for opportunities that enable them to remain passionate and engaged in the work that they love, but also give them greater flexibility.
So I think you should also always look at the options that are in front of you, but perhaps create your own and have enough confidence to articulate them. we're all looking for work-life balance. And I think particularly people, around my age are looking at, how do we actually get this work-life balance right? So considering flexible work arrangements, job share, part-time, moving into a completely different career.
It gives me just greater flexibility, better work hours. I work from home now, so there's no commute. It's just a much better work-life balance, far better. As I look back on my corporate life, it was literally 7 days a week. I was travelling to Sydney every second week. Every quarter we were pretty much overseas. So I was travelling 30 weeks of the year anyway. So now it's when I need to.
Yeah, I'd recommend job share as an option. I think it's something that people don't actually think about. I inquired about the possibility of a job share, and Melbourne Polytechnic actually considered that role. I think it might have been the first time that they had considered such a thing, but we're looking at flexible work into the future, so they actually gave it a go.
Traditional ideas about there being a specific age when you should give up work and take life easy are actually being challenged by mature age workers. Many of them are thinking very differently about work and later life.
As far as retirement and finishing work, my personality is that I need to be busy. I need to be doing things that I really enjoy. So I'd like to think that I will continue to work and do things as long as I am capable of doing them and as long as I am enjoying what I am doing.
Retirement's an interesting question. I don't think I'm genetically programmed for it.
I'm not the sort of person that is just going to throw in the towel and just do nothing.
You need to be mentally stimulated. You need to be around other people. Well, I do, and to be constantly learning new things, and that would be the one thing that I'd say. As I've gotten older and transitioned across things, is I've always maintained that sort of curiosity to continue learning and to adapt and keep myself relevant.